Hello and welcome back to another video. And in today's video we are in our silage field, and as you can see the Aftergrass has come along nicely. So what we're going doing today is putting up a bit of an electric tape to put the cows out into the Aftergrass. Now I can't rightfully remember when we cut the silage on this field, but I think it was somewhere between June and July, I believe. June or July, around that time. And then we put slurry on it, and then the grass sort of slowly at first came up, but once we got a little bit of rain and then we got a dry spell, and the temperatures were sort of reasonably high, and the ground temperature was at a good temperature for the grass to shoot up, and there was plenty of moisture as well in the ground, and it just shot up. So what I'm going to do now is, we do have a bit of an electric tape going the whole way around the field, which is not ideal, but you know, if they do get out, there is a gap just above there. There's no gate on it at this very moment in time. We do have to put 2 pillars up to hang a gate, but if they got out here, they could get out onto the road, or they could go up the wood, and I don't think there's really good fence lines, mirroring fences in the wood either. So there's a lot of places that if they did get out, they'd kind of go a nice bit of distance, and places that we don't want them to go. So and there's concrete stakes here, or concrete posts, and I think between one of them, there's between 3 posts, the bottom line of barbed wire seems to be sort of buried under long grass. So that's not ideal either. And over there you can see where the wood line is, just there is a electric wire there, but that's sort of overgrown with briars. So the briars are growing out past it, and has it sort of slack and loosened, and there's also a tree falling on top of it as well. So there's literally a day's work over there trying to fix the electric wire and fencing in this field. So that's why we have the electric tape going the whole way around, which I know that's not what it's supposed to be used for, but look, it is what it is. Over the winter maybe I could get a couple of stakes and the fencing equipment, and maybe try and get a couple of the fences tightened up and back going to the state that they should be in, hopefully. Anyways, if I can get into fields over the winter, we'll see. I don't know, but today I want to just put a line at this wooden post and let the whole way across over the field, and only give them a section of the field. It's probably a quarter of the field that we're giving them. At first we were going to give them half of the field, but they just have a lot more grass trampled than they would have ate. So to sort of manage the grass better, and for them to eat that little bit more than they would trample, we're giving them a little bit less. So we're giving them in sections of quarters. So we'll give them a quarter now of the field. So from this post, we'll bring the wire up across the hill there, and they'll have this quarter. And then after maybe a week or 2, we'll move the fence and give them another quarter, and then we'll have half of the field then, and just keep moving the fence up and up, sort of like strip grazing them, but not really strip grazing them, because we're giving them a massive chunk at a time. Bit trunk grazing, or whatever you want to call it. So we don't want to tie it to this. When I come with the reeler, I don't want to tie it to this just yet. Now the father doesn't want the strip grazing line, or the grazing line, the line that's going across the hill, to be permanently connected to this. So I'm going to get another black twisty yoke, twist it just underneath it, and leave a bit of a tail sticking out, and then I can wrap it around this to bring the current the whole way across if need be. So that's what I'll do. Everything I need is in the Jeep there. But anyways, yeah, so we'll start off with knocking the Jeep off, I guess. It'll be a start. and we'll get a black twisty oak, twist it into that, and then we'll get the reel of wire and reel it the whole way across. And if there is a stake in line with this one, so if there's a stake in line with this over the far end of the field, we'll tie it to that stake. If there's not, I'm going to have to put a stake into the ground and then tie it to that one. But anyways, enough talking. I have a bit to do, and we'll get started. That's the kind of setup now. You have the strip grazing line or wire, this one, tied to another separate black twisty oak away from the actual, we call this the surrounding, the perimeter wire going around the perimeter of the field. And then when we want to put power into this line, this one is the one where the current is going to be flowing through. So we'll just connect the strip grazing line to that by using just one simple tidy knot, and then the current that's flowing through this will then flow down through this one and then out and the whole way across to the other end of the field. And we can do a similar system like this over the far end with another timber stake, but I don't know if we'll need to do it or not, but the option is there for us if we wanted to. But as long as one side is getting the current and is, you know, like this, then that should be okay. Well, I reeled it out from the timber post that I put up around halfway, and it sort of roughly came in line with a timber post that was already here. Now it might be a foot or two of a difference either way, but not a lot, not a whole pile. And this is the reason why we put up an electric tape, is because there's something there that you cannot see but is there somewhere. Now there is supposed to be a fence there, but I think it's a line of electric wire, but yeah, it's non-existent. I think the wire could be got into the drain somewhere and needs to be fished out, or could be buried underneath grass and whatnot. And also whether or not you'll be able to see through the wide camera angle lens, just there, that's the tree that has fallen on top. So yeah, and we want to get the cattle out onto the aftergrass this year. The field that they're in, the grass is somewhat just gone basically, so there's nothing left for them there, and we want something to eat the aftergrass, otherwise there'll just be an awful bad butt in it next year if we do decide to cut it for silage. But as the moment stands, we are pretty sound silage wise. We could literally just maybe bale half of this field next year, or just not do silage at all next year, because we have plenty, more than enough to do us 2 years. But anyways, that's a bit off topic. Yeah, there was a fence going around here somewhere, but it's just buried between bushes and briars and grass and everything. It is just a pain. So as I mentioned earlier on in the video, if I can get into the field, I could do literally a week of just putting down timber posts here, timber stakes, and trying to revive that electric wire somewhere that's in there. And in other fields as well, I could be doing the same. And then come next year, we're not slobbering with this crap, because that's not what it's meant for. Going around the perimeter of a field, the tape isn't meant for that. But anyways, it is a temporary solution, a temporary fix to when a permanent fence needs a bit of TLC. But anyways, I'll have to put another black yoke on this stake here and then tie it, and then I'll probably get a pigtail stake, put it inside here and hang the reeler off it, and then we'll go around with plastic stakes or pigtail stakes and stand up the wire. Then we have plenty of everything here. And that's the pigtails all in and the tape all stood up, as you can see. So I think now it is connected to the fence here, as I mentioned earlier, and that's where this fence will get its current, because it's connected to this fence, which is where it's connected to the fence 10, and that's where all the current is coming through. So I will go and turn it on, and then I will test this in a couple of spots, probably like somewhere here, then maybe somewhere half up the tape there, up on top of the hill, and I'll probably test it then the other side as well, just to make sure that there's a nice flow of current going through it, and see how much is in it. But I wouldn't say, if there's at least 3000 volts in it, I don't think the cows will bother it too much, and I don't think the calves will bother it too much either, because they will be coming on a year old. Those calves now, I think 2 or 3 of them will have to be weaned off the cows in the next couple, maybe in a month's time. There's 2 or 3 there that will have to be weaned off, because the cow that they're on will be calving in January time, so they will have to be weaned off. And I think I missed a stake here. When I've been by missed, it's not in it. However, I done that. There we go, fixed. Now that's that. We'll go turn the fence on and give it a test, and hopefully there is plenty of current going through it. I'll test it, and it is looking very good. So this is what we'll call the strip grazing wire, because this is the wire that will be moved every week or so. So once they have one section grazed and ate, we'll move it up another chunk and give them another section. So this is the fence that will be moving every week or so. This fence here going around the field will be staying there for the duration that they're in this field. So as you've seen, over at the very far end over there, it was 7,000 volts, 7.1. Around roughly in the middle you had 6,000 volts, and then here at the other end you had another 6,000 volts. So between the far end and the middle, it's sort of losing 1,000 volts, but there's nothing absolutely wrong with 6,000 volts that would keep anything back. 6,000 volts would keep a bull back. So for 5 cows and 5 calves that are moving on a year old, 6,000 and 7,000 volts is absolutely perfect. Even if it was 4,000 or 3,000 volts, that would also keep them back as well. So that's basically all that section ready for them to be brought over and have another bit of grass to graze. They'll have all 10 acres of our silage field of the Aftergrass to graze. So I believe they'll be out here for quite a long time, because then there's a little sort of garden just behind the silage field. It's more sort of boggy soil than anything else. The grass mightn't be all that good, but there's plenty of grass in there for them to graze as well. So once they have the silage field grazed, they'll have that other field to graze, and then the field that we got the haylage off, the side hill, there's aftergrass in that. I don't think there is as much aftergrass in that than there is in the silage field here, but there's grass in there for them as well. So there's enough grass here to keep them out for months. We could keep the cattle out here until Christmas and even after Christmas if we wanted to, but obviously the weather will probably turn and the ground will get more softer and guttier, more muddier, and they'll only start bogging it and destroying it on us. So I'd say around, at some point in the month of November, they'll probably be brought into the house. I reckon, I would assume. So yeah, anyways, all that is ready for them to come out to, and they are out on some nice fresh pastures, the Aftergrass. You can see them there. So what we done was we loaded them onto the trailer. I think we loaded about 4 of them at a time, so it was either, you know, 1 cow and 3 calves and so on and so forth. There was always 4 animals in the trailer at any given time, and then I think there was only 2 then for the last load. So what's this, 5 cows and 5 calves there, so I think he can do the maths. I think it was maybe 2 full loads, and then the last load was 2 cows. So yeah, so what we done was basically loaded them up onto the trailer, and over there where the 4 weanlings are, we had to bring the weanlings, load the weanlings in first and bring them over to the shed. Then we loaded them in, put them in the little pen there where the weanlings are getting their bucket of meal every morning, every day, and then you can see there's a tape there, and we basically just ran them down that field and into the Fair Hill, the silage field, onto the Aftergrass. And whether or not you can see it on the camera, but they have the grass, plenty of grass there to do them a very long time. So yeah, they all look happy out and they are all there, which is always a good sign that they're all there. But yeah, now as I mentioned earlier on in the video, I think there's a few calves there that need to be starting to be weaned off, because she, I think, was one of the first cows to calf, and then that brownie one at the back was the second cow to calf. And I think one of them was Christmas time and the other one was January time, and then you had the rest of them in February, March and April. So there is a few calves there that needs to be weaned off, but I think we're going to leave them there for a month. We are in the month of October now, so come the month of November, hopefully we'll have a lot of them. The 2 of them that are in calf, that have calves on them right now, they'll be weaned off. There's only 2 here that aren't in calf, and it's that mousy coloured one and the white one. The brown one, the small black one and the big black one are all in calf, and the big black one and that brown one needs to have their calves taken off them in a month's time, so that we can dry them off, because they'll be calving then in, I think the first one is calving in January of 2026, and then we have one in February, a few in March, and then the last few in April, I believe. But that is that. They are on the Aftergrass and they are happy out. And we have that tape over there that we were after putting up as well. So I think they'll be in this section for quite a while, at least 2 or 3 weeks, because they have loads of grass here. And once they have this fairly well grazed, we'll probably move that up to another section, and then we'll give them another quarter, so then they'll have half of the field, but they'll have this quarter grazed, and then they'll have another fresh quarter afterwards. Now we do want to rig up some sort of system that we can give the calves meal, but not the cows. When they were in their other fields, they had that little calf creep, but we can't really bring that here because it's on its last legs. It doesn't have much time use left. Its lifespan is getting quite short. It's getting a bit dilapidated. So we do want to rig some sort of system up that the calves can go in and eat their meal and then come back out again, but the cows cannot go in and get the meal. So we do have that to be rigged up, but yeah, other than that, that's the cows and calves out on another bit of grass for another couple of months. So that's going to be the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out my merch, the link to that will be down in the description, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Take care.